the kingdom she walked away from. He bought her the world. A mansion nestled in the heart of Banana Island, marble floors, a private dock, and domestic staffs greeted her like royalty. A boutique in Victoria Island, branded in her name, stocked with Parisian fashion, and visited by celebrities. A luxurious lifestyle, fully funded, fully furnished, completely hers. And in return, she handed him divorce papers. Cold. Crisp. Final. This is not a parable. This is the true story of Chief Damian Izobi, one of Nigeria's youngest billionaires, who gave his heart to the woman of his youth, only to watch her leave, taking his children and everything with her. 2 years later, she came back. But not as the queen she left as. She came back broken. Alone. And begging for the family she once walked away from. They called him the Lion of Lekki. Chief Damian Izobi wasn't born into money. He clawed his way up from the muddy trenches of Onitsha. From selling spare parts in Onitsha to Lodipo markets, to managing construction sites in the sweltering heat of Opopo, to launching one of the most powerful real estate companies in West Africa. By 34, he had stakes in oil blocks, logistics hubs, and housing estates from Lagos to Dubai. He drove a bulletproof Maybach, wore Italian tailored Agbadas. But in all his success, his heart was still tethered to a girl named Edeora. The girl from Enugu. Edeora and Kemdelim. They met at one of the popular festivals in Enugu. She was 19. Shy. Brilliant. The kind of beauty that didn't need makeup, it came from the stillness in her eyes and the softness in her spirit. Her voice carried across rooms unapologetically bold. She chased opportunity with a fierce hunger, her eyes alight with dreams too vast to be confined. Every new challenge only fueled her fire. She was driven to conquer, to learn, to leave her mark. She believed in him before the world did. When he had nothing but dreams and second-hand shoes, she called him a king. And he promised, "One day, I'll make you queen in a house you didn't have to build with your own hands." And he did. In the early years of their relationship, before they eventually tied the knot, he made significant investments in her future and well-being. He financed her tuition for fashion school, enabling her to pursue her passion and hone her design skills. Beyond supporting her education, he also purchased a house for her parents, demonstrating his commitment not just to her but to her family as well. These acts of generosity laid the foundation for her burgeoning career in fashion. Drawing inspiration from her sketches, she launched House of Nkem, a boutique fashion line that showcases her unique designs and creative vision. This venture not only marked a milestone in her professional journey but also symbolized the collaborative spirit and mutual support that defined their relationship. She never lacked. Never begged. He gave her everything. Until one day, she asked for something else. "Let's move to Canada. For the kids. For peace of mind." He agreed. For her. For their future. The move was sudden. Within 6 months, they've got all the necessary papers, rented out the 6th boutique, and enrolled their 2 children in a private school in Ontario. He thought it would just be for a year, maybe 2. But the snow in Canada wasn't the only thing that was cold. 3 days after they arrived in Canada, they are unpacking boxes in their new house. Edeora walked into the kitchen and said, "You're going back to Nigeria. Alone." He laughed at first. Then he saw her face. Empty. Serious. The same woman who once knelt to pray with him before business meetings now stared at him like a stranger. She had changed the school's emergency contacts. Hired a lawyer. Told immigration she was staying with the kids. He stood there, a king with no kingdom. A husband with no wife. A father denied. She said he was too controlling. Too traditional. Too busy. But Chief Damian Izobi knew the truth. There was someone else. A new friend. A Canadian banker. Tall, charming, soft-spoken. He left Canada like a man widowed. The plane ticket read one way. No wife. No children. No closure. In Lagos, he returned to his empire, but the glass towers felt hollow. He worked more. Slept less. Dated women who looked like Edeora, but none who could calm the storms in his heart. People called him lucky. Powerful. But they didn't see the nights he drank whiskey alone in his Lagos mansion, watching old videos of his daughter's ballet recitals, his son's spelling bee. They didn't hear him whisper their names before falling asleep. Yuzo. Ifeananya. Daddy's here. He never spoke badly of Edeora. Not once. But he never forgave her either. 3 years had slipped by. Then, the phone rang. A private number. He hesitated, thumb hovering over the screen. Then chief click. A voice emerged. Familiar. Unmistakable. A voice he hadn't heard in 3 years. Damian, it's me. Edeora. She sounded different. Not proud. Not polished. Just tired. The boutique had failed. The banker had disappeared. She was on welfare. Cleaning houses for extra cash. And worst of all, the children missed their father. They cry at night. They ask why you stopped calling. He swallowed hard. I never stopped. Someone just stopped answering. She begged for forgiveness. Asked if they could come back as a family. He said, only the children. You are not welcome. When the children landed at Murtala Muhammad International Airport, they were taller. Quieter. But when they saw their father at arrivals, they screamed. Daddy. They ran into his arms. He dropped to his knees, buried his face in their shoulders, and wept like a man reborn. I'm sorry, he kept saying. I'm so sorry. But they weren't angry. They just held him tighter. That night, he tucked them into bed in their same room before leaving for Canada. Hugs. Warmth. Home. At midnight, while unpacking his children's suitcases, Chief Damian Izobi discovered a 5-page handwritten letter in his daughter's luggage, signed, Edeora N. She wrote about regret. About pride. About chasing the illusion of independence and finding only silence. She wrote about the pain in her son's eyes when he asked why daddy didn't come to school plays anymore. About the nights she lay awake, wondering how she threw away the man who gave her everything. She ended with, I don't ask for marriage. Just a chance to serve the man I betrayed. To fix what I broke. To love what I once took for granted. He read it. Twice. Then folded it slowly. And whispered. She made her choice. Now I've made mine. When Edeora called again, his voice was calm. You can't return to my life with the same footsteps that walked away. He thanked her for the children. Promised to always support them. But the door, it stayed closed. Not out of spite, but out of dignity. The children now split time between Canada and Nigeria. They flourish, they are smart, kind and grounded. Chief never remarried. He found peace in mentoring young men. Donating to schools. Built housing for widows. The man who once built skyscrapers now built people. Years later, during a high-profile public appearance as the face of his empire, he sat for a live television interview. A young reporter leaned in and asked, Chief, do you still love the mother of your kids? He paused. Then, locking eyes with the studio camera, he replied, Yes. But love isn't always enough, not when respect dies first. He let the weight of his words settle before continuing. Some women marry kings, and forget the kingdom that made them queens. They chase freedom, not realizing that loyalty was their crown. By the time they return, the throne is empty, and the gates have closed. Would you take her back? Or leave the past, where it buried itself? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe for more true emotional stories from around the world.